Hi, Tramily.
What's up, Tram?
Tram.
Tram bam?
Tram bam.
Trombone?
Okay.
That's an that's an instrument.
If you hear us stumbling over our words, it's because it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
It is 7:37
okay,
in
whatever.
the morning.
I'm exaggerating.
Close
Fine.
enough.
We have to record this now. Like this is the only day we can. And then I'm flying to San Diego. Wesley has work and we're just, here. So we decided this is the morning that we have to do it.
This is the way.
So we woke up very early to wake up, which you're still not awake.
Yes. This is the way. This is the way.
So we're drinking coffee.
So there's your drink of the choice. The drink of the choice is coffee. We use New Mexican coffee that we get from Costco, the large capitalistic conglomerate of Costco.
But we do save money grocery-wise.
We do.
Groceries, yes.
Yeah.
Good word.
Groceries. That's a new word. I believe someone recently created that word, right? Grocery.
It's like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It's so 4 months ago.
It is. So 4 months.
I was going to say, what do you have in your coffee, though?
I am drinking good old-fashioned from the teat milk. This is not the milk that I would normally get because this is just like the Kroger special milk or Safeway special. I really love this Colorado homegrown milk. It is the best milk I think I've ever had, except for like Icelandic milk, which is super good. Or Irish, Irish milk.
Or Irish, yeah, it's creamy.
You're drinking something a bit more on the vegetarian side,
the
vegan side.
It's organic banana milk.
How do you milk a nanner?
I have no idea.
Very carefully. If it's got a nipple, you can milk it.
Oh my God, it does have a nipple.
It's the Meet the Fockers reference. Come on.
No, I know, but I'm saying a banana does have a nipple.
It does. And it's got a dick.
Oh my God.
Welcome to our podcast, everyone. We are your hosts. I am Yeti Legs.
And I'm Basecamp.
This is Yeti.
Walks into Basecamp.
Talking.
Through.
Hiking. We're a married couple. We've got a husky dog. Her name is Loba. We do through hiking, we do ultra running, and we like to talk about it. So that's why we are here. We started this podcast in the beginning of 2023, and here we are still today, still with this passion project that we have, still decompressing the PCT, which this episode will be week 23 on the Pacific Crest Trail. So we are super close to finally finishing our 181 days on the PCT here.
Pretty big deal.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm sad and excited.
Well, I've created this shared spreadsheet that has all of our trails on it that we need to talk about still. So even after the PCT, we have 3 more to talk about. The TMB, the Colorado Trail, and then the AZT. That might be half a decade from now. We'll see.
Yeah. Wesley, you're the one who keeps us organized because I truly don't.
Which is funny because she's the producer. She's the most organized person I know. And then
Except for the podcast.
It's kind of funny.
I'm like, honestly. I can't. I have no bandwidth. I have no capacity. And Wes is like, okay, I'll do it.
I got this.
I didn't even know we had tabs for our trails until just now.
Well, I just created this recently for Brooke so that she could kind of see what we're doing. And if she does any of the posting, she can know what days go to what week.
Oh.
Because all the pictures and videos are bunched in, they're not bunched into weeks. They're just by each day.
Gotcha.
So it's probably helpful for her.
Hey, everybody. I just want to say that stick around for the environmental corner. If you want more information about just the Arizona fires, this is a really personal one for us that we wanted to talk about, and kind of information on the environment and why this is happening, what's happening, giving, some facts, and really just our emotional personal story to it. So stick around after the PCT episode if you want to hear more about our environmental corner. Well, I think we should just get into it.
Yeah, we don't really have any Cotton World updates. We're just this summer working.
I am doing the collegiate loop.
She is doing the collegiate loop soon.
Hopefully. I sprained my ankle on we did a 50-mile backpacking trip this last weekend in Indian Peaks Wilderness. It was beautiful. But I sprained my ankle the first day within like 10 miles. And then I kept going and kept going and kept going. And then the third day I re-sprained it again, and that was not cool.
Yeah.
I hitched out of the trail. Well, we hitched out of the trail. I was like, I'm done.
What did we do? Skip like 7 miles to get back?
So we only had 6 left, and
That's not bad at all.
no, but we did almost 50 miles. So I'm just going to say 50 miles.
Yeah, I recorded like 49 and a half.
Exactly.
I mean, if you round up,
Yeah,
that's how that works.
exactly. I'm planning on doing the collegiate loop in a few weeks with Loba.
Yeah.
Just me and Lobes. 160 miles.
It's
It's
gonna be
not
awesome.
150. All Trails is a son of a bitch. It is, Far Out says it's 160.
You made that sound like it was one word. Son of a bitch.
It's just that you posted that I was going to do the collegiate loop and it was 150 miles, or emailed the rack pack about it. And I was like, it's not 150. It's 160.
Sorry.
All Trails is
I
stupid.
shorted you 10.
I know.
Well, if you
That's
would,
like half a day.
there's no point for you to get the far out version of the collegiate
No.
loop, because we have the
We have-
CDT and the CT, so you can just use
Well, the
that.
CT shows both alternates on it, so it's not a big deal.
Well, there
But
you go.
I'm just saying All Trails is wrong and always is wrong
Yeah.
about mileage.
Always.
Drives me crazy.
Always.
So, okay, moving on.
Oh yeah, we will. We mentioned this before. We'll be doing the CT and then finishing up the Arizona Trail in the fall, barring any major physical injuries. My knee's been popping a lot,
He's gonna get it checked, yeah.
so I gotta get that checked either tonight or tomorrow. Make sure I don't have any like serious damage that could get worse by
Yes.
doing several hundreds of miles.
Yes.
Yes. This episode is brought to you by stank ass water. How do you drink stank ass water? You have to filter it. And what is our number one choice for filtering stank ass water?
Sawyer.
We have used Sawyer basically
For a long ass time.
since
2017.
our outdoor time immemorial.
I mean, I started using him when I ultra ran.
Yeah, you use the little minis, and
Yeah.
I used the Sawyer Squeeze whenever I was doing my intro hikes into the backpacking world. And here we are today, still using Sawyer. Just be sure not to let that sucker freeze, because then you could definitely get sick. We have used Sawyer, you said since 2016?
I've used them since 2017.
2017, and we still use them today. We haven't converted. We do use like a redundancy, so we'll take some chlorine treatment out there with us as well, especially if we're filtering like some nasty cow pond water or something. You just want to be extra safe, and we got super sick on the Arizona Trail filtering water.
Only because they do say this on their website.
Yes.
But they don't filter out viruses.
Yes.
None of them do. None of the water filtration devices filter out viruses. So if it's virus season and you're out there hiking and it's a big river, you should probably put an extra something in there to
Yes.
protect it.
The takeaway on this is always bring a backup water source, or pull from a good water source. So not like a big river that has lots of contamination potential from cities and cows. And
Unless
things
it's
like
your
that.
only water source.
Unless it's your only water source, in which case you should have a backup treatment option as well. So we always use Sawyer. We use a backup just in case. But we also use Sawyer's bug sprays. They have a picaridin lotion
Which is so helpful right now because the mosquitoes are out to kill.
in full force. I would hate to see what they are like in Oregon right now.
I bet they're monsters.
Probably. And they also have a permethrin spray that you can treat your gear with. These things, they might sound fancy and chemical-like, but they are either pulled from or they're chemically synthesized from a chemical found in the chrysanthemum.
And if you
So,
want, shameless plug,
shameless
but we
plug.
do have an interview with Sawyer in our earlier episodes if you want to go back and listen to it, and you can hear about all of the different products and where they come from.
Water is life.
Water
That's what
is
it's
life.
called.
Yes.
So if you're hearing this right now, we don't have a discount code for you, but if you're the first person to email us with the stankiest ass water story that you have ever pulled from and filtered from, and of course, if you have a photo, we would love to see that. We just want to hear, what is a bad water situation that you have survived from, but you had to pull it, filter it somehow, treat it, whatever. Did you use a bandana to like coarse filter? We want to know the stuff. Shoot us an email, yetiwalksintobasecamp@gmail.com. First person to send us an email with that cool info will get an awesome care package from Sawyer.
Also, if you don't have a story like that, that's okay too. You can also email us at yetiwalksintobasecamp@gmail.com
With a
hey, I'd love the Sawyer package.
No, that's too easy. I want to hear, even if you don't have a story, I want to hear a story that you create.
It's too much work.
It's not too much work. These care packages are full of stuff.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to be entertained. Entertain me, please.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? So yeah, real life story or make up a story about some stank ass water.
You know what? Maybe I'm just going to do this for my hike coming up.
What?
I'm going to do it.
So you can get the care package for yourself.
I need a Sawyer so bad.
You do.
Actually, I forgot to buy a Sawyer in REI yesterday.
We've got 2 Sawyer squeezes, and
we're not sure.
One of them is questionably not good because it may have frozen.
We're not sure. So I feel like to be safe, I need a new one.
It's true. Whenever they freeze, the pores open up a lot larger, so it lets more stuff through. So you could potentially get sick. So if there's any question, get a new one. Yeah, let's get into this. This is going to be week 23. We're only doing 6 of the 7 days for this week because the next week, week 24, we're going to have on a very special guest who's close, near and dear to us, Tumbleweed. We share a lot of this chunk of Washington, which is the last section of the PCT with Tumbleweed, and it only felt appropriate to have him on this part of the saga.
It did.
This will be 6 days, week 23. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So, first day, week 23, we have a 0 day in Cascade locks. So if you recall, we got through a pretty gnarly little stretch into Cascade locks after leaving Timberline Lodge. We got there with Godfather and with Pedicure, 2 new hikers that we had met on the trail. We went through the Eagle Creek, the Tunnel Falls section, and now we're in Cascade locks. We drank a lot that night to celebrate.
And Wesley was hungover the next day.
And I woke up super freaking hungover.
I was not. You threw up twice, I think.
I threw up several times.
Didn't you throw up like in the bushes when we were walking too?
Definitely. And I remember going to bed and Tumbleweed was sitting in a chair in the hotel room, Azul's hotel room.
Yes.
Eating Pop-Tarts.
Yes. And I think he fell asleep that way.
And I fell asleep on the floor beside the bed.
Yes. And I fell asleep in the bed with Azul. And then, because she was like, hey, I have a hotel if you guys just want to crash. And we hadn't figured out any hotel situation. I think they were all booked was what it was. Because something was happening in Cascade Locks that weekend.
Yeah.
And so we got there and I don't think there were any hotels.
Yeah, there was some event or something happening.
Yeah. Azul's like, hey, you guys can just crash at my hotel.
And we
were like, okay.
By the time we woke up, Tumbleweed was gone because he was working at one of the breweries in town. He was, laying up drywall or something?
Yeah, so he was out.
Yeah, but he got free beer, which is pretty sweet.
And I just remember you were throwing up in the bathroom when I woke up, I think.
Yes. And then we went to go get coffee and
breakfast.
Some breakfast to fill my stomach, so I quit throwing up. And across the fucking street, I saw Quadzilla going into a gas station.
I do want to say, though, there's a reason why we really wanted to meet him.
Because my man crush.
But we also were wearing the same outfit, all of us.
Yes.
He had on an orange Jolly Gear shirt with black shorts.
And we had on the same exact thing.
But not that morning because we were wearing our town clothes.
I know. It just wouldn't have worked out.
We were really hoping we'd meet him on trail and be like, oh my God, we're triplets, and take a picture, and then he'd keep hiking.
That was our dream.
But it was not meant to be.
Yeah. And I definitely had some leg envy on trail. So I wanted to size up our quads.
He
together.
Did, because everybody talked about Wesley's legs all the time, and Quadzilla, of course, everybody's like, oh, his legs, he's known for his legs. So Wesley really wanted to go and compare.
The only other person who had comparable legs was Jedi.
Yeah.
His alternate ego was Harry Quatter instead of Harry Potter, Harry Quatter, because of his quads. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about Arame and...
So my cousin...
The hotel, yeah.
So it's my second cousin. My mother's first cousin named Patty, which she will come back into our story. She lives in Washington with her husband. Her daughter, Arame, is my second cousin. And Arame and I, this is so wild. We maybe have met once in our lives because she's on the West Coast. I grew up on the East Coast. And Arame, did she reach out to us? I think she reached out to us.
She sure did.
Because she was following us on Instagram and following our story. She her and her husband and kids just happen to live like 30 minutes from Cascade Locks. And so she reaches out and she's like, I would love to see you, meet you, hang out with you. And I can come pick you guys up from Cascade Locks. We'd love to treat you to a hotel experience. And
boy, was it an experience.
and she's like, so we'd love to, pretty much like take you out to dinner, hang out. And her husband as well. Why am I blanking on his name?
Charles.
Thank you.
George. He's from Rifle, Colorado.
So random. And so she is like, I'm going to come pick you guys up. So this day of the hangover, she comes to pick us up and take us. Did she take us directly to the McMenamins?
No, we went to a grocery store first.
Is that what we did?
Yeah.
With her?
I remember getting like a naked juice and just chugging it. Those are the best things whenever you've been like hot and hiking is naked juices.
Yes. But dude, Arame is so fun. She's one of those people. She's got blonde hair and blue eyes. And when she walks into a room, she's like a fairy to me. Like she carries this magic of just making people's lives feel uplifted and encouraged. Like
Damn.
that's Arame to me.
I hope you talk about me like this.
Yours is different. Yours is like, you make me feel warm and fuzzy and protected and safe.
I'm not a fairy.
No, you're not a fairy.
What am I?
You are a...
If you say a dwarf, we're done.
You're like an elf.
An elf?
Yeah.
What kind of elf? Like a wood elf?
You're like a
high elf? A dark elf?
No. I feel like you're like a Legolas elf, or you're an elf that like wants to create safety.
He's a wood elf.
And love. A wood elf then, yeah. Like Galadriel. Yeah.
Is she? Well, yeah,
she's
I guess
a wood
she is
elf.
technically a wood elf.
Yeah. But you create safety and protection, and you also create warm, caring, fuzzy emotions. But you also have a side to you where if someone fucks with you or fucks with me, you will pull out an arrow and shoot them in your mind.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a warrior, but you're a lover.
Okay.
And I feel like that's elves.
Yeah. I'll take that. Damn, I should have put that on my dating app before we met 5 years ago.
Well, you didn't know then because I'm the one who gave it to you.
Categorized wood elf. Lover and fighter. Back to Arame.
Science and artist.
Her fairy likeness.
Yeah, so she's like a fairy. That's all I can... She has like this magical tone of voice about her. She just brings so much magic to your life. Like I feel like she sprinkles joy is kind of how I feel about her.
You better tell her to listen to this part of the episode.
I should. She'll feel so loved.
She's got, what, 2 kids?
2 kids, yeah. And they're like older. Arame does not look her age at all, but she also did have kids at a young age. And she has a kid that is now in college. And then her second son is probably close to graduation. He may be a sophomore, junior, senior now.
Something like that.
But
anyways, mom with 2 kids, husband, doesn't look her age, offers to treat us to a super cool hotel.
And she called it McMenamins. And we're like, what the hell is that? She's like, oh, this is an experience you'll never forget.
So it was a McMenamins over in Edgefield. And if you've never heard of McMenamins, I think it's largely Oregon, but there are a few other locations in
like
other
Washington,
states now.
I think, too.
And what they do is they take historic buildings and they'll convert them into
factories or
hotels. But we weren't fortunate enough to get a factory.
We got
an insane asylum. So they had converted an insane asylum into this McMenamins, and every room had a picture
patient
of the person or the patient who had been in that room.
I was so creeped out. I was like, it's haunting this room. I know it.
And God, I remember she took us to this hotel. And it's actually really cool. There's like a little lazy river with a bar. There's a nice restaurant
and it's a
in the
hot
hotel.
tub. It's a hot tub lazy river.
Hell yeah. The rooms themselves are super cool and kind of antiquated looking, but there's no central air conditioning.
No.
So it was super hot, and we couldn't even get the fans to work in the original room they put us in, so they moved us to another room, which absolutely was haunted.
The girl that was probably crazy in that room, the picture was hanging over our bed.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I was like, well, this is fun.
Yeah.
Definitely was haunted. But they gave us a bigger room because of that, though.
They sure did.
They did.
For the inconvenience.
But, and it was like, imagine over 100 degrees outside with no AC and no fans working.
So even at night, it was like high 70s in the room.
Oh my God.
Low
it was
80s.
stifling. I was like, I just want my tent back.
I feel like with such an operation, they should have at least put air conditioning. But
You would
that's just
think
me.
for as much money as they're probably making.
We should have bought a portable fridge and put it in there and just left the door open.
Sure.
They treated us to dinner. Lots of cocktails, lots of beer, awesome dinner, and then we lazy rivered it up.
For a while.
Lazy river hot tubbed.
Yeah. I got to know Airman George.
And we were down in some ciders.
Charles.
Charles George. We can call him.
His last name is George.
We can call him CG.
CG.
Yeah. But we were down in ciders like it was nobody's business.
Man, I was.
What was it?
I needed that
We
so
never
bad.
even drank ciders. Why were we doing ciders?
I love ciders.
But we never drank them.
I don't think they had a beer you wanted.
I think it's because it was so hot. That's why.
Is that what it was?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't just want beer though.
You know, I can't tell you what Trail West wants in retrospect because he wants really weird things whenever he's on trail.
No, that's true. You just chug sauces randomly.
And so Arame is like basically our trail angel for a few days from this point on. She's like, Marie needs new shoes, so Arame orders them and brings them to us in the future, and we'll get into that. But she's just literally fairy-like trail angel.
She really was. Because, yeah, I did need new shoes. I had like holes in my shoes, but their Cascade Locks didn't have anywhere to purchase shoes. And so I get some from REI, or Arame volunteered to go pick
Yes.
some up and meet us on trail like a couple days later.
At Fish Lake?
To drop them off. It
Yes.
wasn't Fish Lake,
Trout.
Lake.
One of the fishes.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So we did sleep. I remember sleeping well because I was so tired
Yes.
in McMenamins, even though it was haunted. I just didn't even care.
You're like, the ghost can just take me.
The ghost didn't feel angry. The ghost was kind. I didn't feel like there was a bad energy in the room.
Yeah, just
So I can sleep better.
kindly in the corner, politely staring all night long.
Probably.
You know, not disrupting, not waking us up, just staring.
We did have sex though. I was like, well, if there's a ghost, it's watching us have sex.
It's getting a dinner and a show right here.
I do remember us having sex, and it was good sex. It was great sex.
Oh, was it?
You don't remember?
Was it wood elf lover sex?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're more of a high elf. I'll give you high elf status.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like Eowyn? Isn't she high elf?
Eowyn? Eowyn is
Arwen.
Arwen. She is a human?
Arwen.
What?
There's Eowyn and Arwen.
They're
Liv
female.
Tyler's
Oh, yeah,
character.
sorry. Who am I thinking of? Who's the blonde
You're
girl
thinking of Eowyn.
from Rohan?
No, that's Arwen. Wait. No, that's Eowyn. I
You
always
know,
get them confused in their names.
Tolkien, I wish that you had differentiated some of the main character names just a little bit.
Right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of too late for that. But okay. So yeah, you're more high elf status.
Okay. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
Well, technically, if you're talking Arwen? Eowyn.
I think it's Arwen.
The
God.
one that Aragorn is in
Tyler's-
love with.
Liv
Liv Tyler's character. She is technically a descendant of a half elf, half human, because that's what,
Yeah.
God, I'm forgetting the elf names. It's too early for this.
What? I am too. Oh my God. What
Damn
is
it.
his name?
The last homely house,
God. Okay, it's
Aragorn?
no,
No.
Aragorn's the man.
Oh my God, this is terrible.
Oh, I'm so sorry, all you nerds out there.
Oh my God. You know what we're talking
Hang
about.
on.
Yeah.
This is gonna.
You're just going to look it up.
I have to. It's gonna drive me crazy.
He was in The Rings of Power. I cannot believe I can't remember his name.
Like in my head, I really want to just remember because it's at the tip of my head right now. He's best friends with
Gimli.
King Theon
Look it up.
that leads the elf.
He leads the elves in Lord of the Rings. This is
Elrond. Good
Elrond.
God.
Yes, Elrond is part elf, part human. And so Elrond's daughter is like quarter human, and I don't know who Elrond had a baby with, but I'm guessing it was an elf.
See, we don't know any of that story.
Because I haven't read the Silmarillion.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on from that.
So we get up the next morning.
That was a rabbit hole.
Yeah. We get up the next morning
The spirit is in the corner watching.
and she takes us back to Cascade Locks
Arame, not the spirit.
because we decide we're going back on trail.
She takes us back to Cascade Locks. Bridge of the Gods. We're like, okay, I'm no longer hungover. Let's do this.
And I get ice cream. There is a line for the ice cream. And I'm like, I'm going to do it.
The ice cream stand is on the far side of town from the trail.
And this is a famous ice cream spot for through hikers.
Yeah, do you
Like-
remember the name?
No,
I don't
gosh,
either.
no. All I remember is it was this cute little teeny tiny house teeny tiny house, like as big as our bedroom. And there were 2 windows that you could go to and order ice cream. And they made them like monsters. Like they were huge. I mean, they were longer than a penis erected.
Hey,
So they were probably, 8 inches tall?
they're greater than the Sterling Monument there, which is a giant fuck you to the English. No offense to anyone listening who's English.
So it's about maybe 8 inches tall of just ice cream on the cone. And then you can put different flavors and they make it really cute. It's just like all these designs. All I remember about that ice cream shop is that you can see this tall ice cream, like swirly, on top of the little house. And then there's a line. And I think she dropped us off around 10 or 11. And there was already a line for this ice cream shop. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And Wesley, for some weird reason,
I don't know why.
Wesley did not want ice cream.
I don't know why.
He's like, no, there's too much sugar in that. And I was like, I don't even know.
We wood elves only eat lambas bread, okay?
Apparently. I was like, well, I'm getting ice cream. And I did.
And you did. And I had a few bites.
It was so good.
You got a little upset that I wanted some of your ice cream.
Yes. I was like, why didn't you just get your own ice cream? Because he literally, when Wesley takes bites of food of mine, it's like 3 bites of mine.
I take percentages. I don't take bites.
Exactly. So he took like a huge bite of my ice cream. And I was like, really?
Yeah,
really? Why didn't you just get your own ice cream?
So by the time we walk back to the other side of town and reach the Bridge of the Gods, she's done with her ice cream. So Bridge of the Gods is a constructed bridge that crosses the Columbia River. Originally, it was some sort of a land bridge that spanned over the Columbia River. I'm not sure if it connected the entire way or not, but they have since constructed this bridge, and you have to walk across this bridge with active oncoming traffic in both directions. So the Bridge of the Gods, you're walking across this metal bridge. You can see the entire Columbia River underneath you as you're hiking across it. And there's oncoming traffic, and you don't really have a huge shoulder to be able to walk in. So the traffic is just having to go slow whenever the hikers get there. So we're walking across the Bridge of the Gods. Water is like raging underneath us. It's the Columbia River once again. And we're walking to the state of Washington. You can see Washington on the other side of the riverbank. So Oregon, Washington Bridge connects them. We get over there. You take your iconic picture with the Bridge of the Gods, like signage in it. Some of the cars are honking at you, like in a good way. Like, congratulations, you've gotten here. Some are honking at you because you're in their way. So you get over to Washington, and maybe this is just how I recall it, but as soon as we get into Washington, I'm like, wow, it's like a freaking rainforest over here.
It did feel that way.
The vegetation was very rainforesty after you hike maybe a mile through like kind of a dry meadow area. But everything is wet. There's like a lot of green, lush vegetation, and it's humid as all get out. And so that's what I remember after the ice cream event. I don't even know where we camped this night. We're just meeting a crap ton of people from the bubble that has jumped up ahead. They're now hiking with us. So we're all trying to find campsites now. And we did meet this guy. His name is Crypto. You remember Crypto?
I don't remember meeting him this day, but I remember Crypto. He's French. And I only remember him because we run back into him in Mazama.
Yeah, we meet him on this day. The one thing I remember about Crypto, other than his name and he's French, is that he had a sling fin tent.
Yes.
And you didn't see many of those out there.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember that. All I do remember about this day, we climbed right out the gate. You cross Bridge of the Gods, and then you have a fucking climb. Like, welcome to Washington, bitches. Like, that's how it felt.
Your ass needs to climb up to elevation to get to the Cascades.
Exactly.
That's what happens.
So I was glad I had ice cream in my system to climb. It was great.
But I was fine without ice cream. I was good.
Yeah, you would have just probably, like, rolled me over.
I was probably
eating
eating some Nature's Bakery bars.
You were probably eating cashews and almonds and granola.
Girl, give me some Skittles and tequila and I would fuck up that trail.
Yeah, you did in SoCal. You never did it again. Were you scared of me?
Yeah.
You're like, I can't have sugar. She'll be so mad at me again.
Yeah, that was a traumatic experience for sure.
But I do remember the climb, and it was a climb for a long time. And then We did, how many miles did we do this day? 20. We did 20 miles this day. And we started at like 11 or 12, I think.
I know you remember us camping in this place.
I remember.
I don't think you know it was this day. We camped in a ditch this night.
I remember the ditch, and I remember running into U-Turn's family.
Yeah,
Tramley. And they offered for us, they actually were super sweet, and they offered for us to camp with them. But we were like, dude, our tent is so big. I don't think we can fit with you guys. Because they had about 6 people over there. And so we look over because there was just nowhere to camp.
It's true. We were hiking by these beautiful like creeks and big streams, lush area, all in the canopy, and all the campsites were taken.
Either taken or there was just nowhere to pitch.
There were at least like 40 people camped around like a 1/4 mile area with these watersheds.
And also they all were pitching at like 6 p.m. and you have until 8, 9 in this time frame to keep hiking. And at this point in our like hiking world, we were just hiking until pretty much it was getting
dark.
Because we were just trying to get miles in at this point and just trying to get through Washington. So I just remember we were wanting to stop at like 16 or 17 this day, but every time we would see a water spot, there were hikers. There was like, was this the day when we went down into that river and we were looking for a camp spot and there were just like a million tents?
Yes.
It was so frustrating.
And
then we had to climb. Stretch. Yeah. And then we had to climb out of it. So we had to do another few miles just to get to find a spot. Because I think there was just like no camp spots between there.
Yeah, to find a Forest Service road with a ditch.
And it was on a slope.
And there was lightning that night. Yeah, there was a group camped up the road on a hill, and lightning struck really close to their campsite.
Yeah, it was, what a night that was. But it was the first night we'd ever camped in a ditch because we couldn't find a campsite.
It was a cozy ditch.
It was very cozy, and we felt very safe.
Yeah.
Other than if the water had started really...
Then we would have gotten flooded out. We were just hoping upon hope. You know, and we can bash the people who were setting up camp at 5, 6 o'clock, but the one thing they have going for them is they got campsites.
You know what, though? I do judge them because at that point in your through hiking system, you should not be camping at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
When you have 4 more hours of daylight.
That's
8 miles at least.
That's very much the culture on the Colorado Trail.
That's what you said.
Yeah, you just set up camp by 5.
Which is fine because you're only on that trail for a month and a half.
Yeah.
But when you're into a trail and you're literally on month 5, you should not be camping at 5 p.m.
Campers versus hikers.
You become a through hiker when you're out there for 5 months.
And we've always called ourselves campers, but I guess we became hikers.
We did become hikers.
And we're still hikers.
Yeah, because now we will still camp in
we can't break the mold.
No, because if it's 5 or 6, I'm going, well, we still have like 3 hours of daylight. We might as well keep hiking. What are we going to do at camp?
I know.
We're just going to eat and go to bed.
Well, yeah, we camped at pretty garbage sites last weekend.
That's what I'm saying, but we're used to it. We're like, it's fine. At least it's a flat spot.
Yeah. Couldn't even fully pitch the tent because it was so tight.
I will also say about Washington, it is very difficult to find good campsites if everyone's already taken them because there's a lot of downed trees.
And like really thick vegetation. So you can't just create a campsite in Washington. And you shouldn't be doing that anyways because it's not leave no trace.
But if you're desperate to find a campsite because it's 9 p.m. and you want to pitch, you got to figure something out. So pitch in a ditch. Wow, that's a sticker right there. That's a sticker. Yeti walks in a base camp, pitch in a ditch. Actually, it's pretty great. Next
Washington, day 3 in Washington.
I don't honestly remember anything about this day other than getting to Trout Lake.
I just remember the campsite.
That's all I remember too. And we met Sketch and Treebeard this day.
So at this point, we were zoned in. We really wanted to finish the trail. I think it's around this time too, because this is early August, that they did trail days. And a lot of people were like leaving and prepping to go to trail days, which is back at Cascade Locks.
Yes.
And we wanted to continue on to get the miles because we wanted to finish the trail because we had like a bad feeling in our gut.
Good thing we did.
It served us well.
But also people were leaving the trail and we were like, yay, campsites.
But this night was not to be that way. So we hiked 24.15 miles, about 5,300 feet of gain Don't remember anything through it other than we're hiking through this Wind River experimental forest. We did see the field trip family. So it was a mom and all of her redheaded kids.
Oh, sorry. I'm a day ahead on here. Yep. I do not remember this day other than meeting the redheads.
Yeah, we met the field. They were called the field trip.
Yeah.
Field trip. And they were super sweet, to be honest with you. But we're hiking through this experimental forest. We get to camp, and the campsite, there's a bunch of down trees in the area. And there's a bunch of widowmakers. They're like the standing dead. But we all camp here. We pitched our tent underneath like a living tree, hoping if something happened that
it would
protect us. But this is where we met this guy. His name was like, what did I write down?
He had a lot of names.
Cosmic Meat Vacuum, something like that.
It was so random.
Because he ate a lot of meat. But he was one of the guys who had to skip up ahead. And we got to talking to him. And he was telling us about his experience and how he's pretty much just given up on finishing the trail this year. And I think that made us a little less jaded towards all the folks who were, despite them jumping up ahead and taking all the campsites, we kind of understood his point of view a little bit more, and everyone who had to jump ahead.
Yeah.
So we're a bit more empathetic to that cause. Because up until then, we were just kind of angry about it.
And Pedicure also helped with that too.
Yeah.
Because Pedicure had to skip ahead from NorCal.
She did.
And she skipped like, what was it, 300 to 500 miles?
I don't know.
It was something like that. I remember her saying that. And same with him, Meat Vacuum. Like he definitely, we don't even know his real name. We just know his trail name.
That's through hiking.
That's through hiking. Yes, You're right. And I do remember him. And I do remember how defeated he sounded.
Yeah.
He was pretty defeated.
But he was still out there and giving it a go, you know?
And you know what I realized? We did over 5,000 feet of gain this day.
Yeah.
We did a lot of climbing.
Yeah, we did.
And it was 24 miles. Like that's
significant. That's not nothing.
No, I feel like by Washington, this is where I remember thinking in my head, we would get 20 miles in by 2 p.m. And I'd be like, well, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Like we were just in such great shape at that point that doing 20 miles didn't feel like an accomplishment anymore.
No, but
it just felt like a typical day.
But the gain, you can feel the gain.
Dude, Washington.
You never don't feel the gain.
Right. You never don't feel the climb. But Washington, I always said, it's like we're in a video game, right?
Like the bosses and the mini bosses.
The boss monsters. Washington is the final boss monster. This is like, who's the king in Mario? Why am I Bowser? Washington is Bowser, I think.
The northern terminus is Bowser and Washington is Bowser's castle.
Bowser's castle. So you're going through these massive down trees. Like you're having to climb up over them to get over them.
It's not a carpet ride.
It's not cute. It's not like, oh, I can just put my leg over and get over this tree. No, you're actually having to climb to get over and belly flop over them. And then it's like overgrown in areas because there's a lot of wilderness in Washington.
Yeah.
And there's a shit ton of climbing while you're trying to get over trees. And then you're going down super steep terrain.
Yeah.
And then once you climb though, it's gorgeous alpine, right?
Yeah.
It's rewarding. But just to like paint a picture of Washington, it is not an easy state.
Dude, so-boers have a rough go of it.
Way harder.
I know, the no-boers.
I'd want to give up if I were doing Washington first. I'd be like, dear God, this is horrible. And so I do think going no-bow on the PCT is the better option because by the time you get to Washington, you're so jaded.
Yeah.
By all of it, you're like, okay, another tree, let's belly flop again.
Let me tell y'all, you look real sexy when you're whale flopping over a 3-foot wide down spruce.
Oh my God.
Real sexy.
So funny.
You're flashing everybody with your short shorts.
Balls are hanging out.
Balls are hanging out through
Boobs
the holes.
Are hanging out.
Real sexy.
Yeah. So that's kind of like how Washington is the whole time. It's just, yeah. But that's all I really remember of that night too, is Meat Vacuum and the family.
Yeah.
Then the next day.
We're kind of like in more of a somber mood after that conversation.
Of realizing.
And it's kind of like a wet, misty morning. Well, misty eye of the mountain below. The Washington forests are pretty dense, and we're walking through a bunch of older growth area. A lot of fungi growing around. You can see mosses and lichens. Really green to paint a picture for that. We ended up having lunch at this beautiful lake. It's called Blue Lake. I don't know if you remember this.
I do not.
This is one of the few lakes that we actually stopped and appreciated and had lunch at. We considered swimming in it, but we didn't. We only swam in one lake the entire trail, and that's later in Washington.
All of our friends would swim in lakes, and I'd be like, how do they have time for this?
It felt like at least an hour time suck.
Yeah, because you have to dry yourself off. Oh, I do remember this now because people were, this lake was delicious. And people were actually like around the lake chilling and swimming in it. And it did look like a very inviting lake.
It did.
But
Which is why we at least had lunch there.
Yes, but we decided not to swim in it yet because we still haven't swam in any lakes on the trail.
That's sad.
But this day we did 21 miles. I don't remember much about this day other than where we camped.
I could tell you a little bit more.
Okay, go for it.
I don't know how I just remember things.
I know. I remember the alpine experiences and memories. That's what I remember.
We do have lunch at Blue Lake. And as we're continuing throughout the day, I think these are the first really good views that we get of Mount St. Helens. So Mount St. Helens, historically active volcano, blew its top. It's kind of a big deal.
It's very cool.
The story of Bat Squatch actually revolves around Mount St. Helens.
It's an iconic mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know that if I had been there after the explosion of Mount St. Helens, you have all this ash in the sky, it would have been really cold. I would have really wished that I had had one of my Leve outdoor mid layers, because those Leve outdoor mid layers weigh nothing. And honest to goodness, they provide so much additional warmth for really no weight cost at all. So Leve Outdoors, they have different weights of these mid layers, 60, 90, 120. It's basically a really lightweight version of Polar Tech. Cameron and his small company offers these mid layers and a bunch of other stuff. They actually got a restock of Octa hoodies, which are pretty sexy if you ask me. He's also got beanies and some other stuff in the works. Some pretty sweet hats as well. Cameron, thank you so much for sponsoring this podcast episode along with Sawyer. And thank you for giving a discount code to our listeners, which is the name of the podcast, Yeti Walks into Basecamp, all one word. And that's going to get you 10% off of your entire purchase over at Leve Outdoors. Cameron does have a lot of awesome promo deals going all the time, but whenever he happens to not have one, this is a code that is basically good for all time until he gets tired of us talking about how awesome his gear is. So Yeti Walks into Basecamp, 10% off discount code, your entire purchase at Leve Outdoors. Go and check out his wares. He is actually going to be at, AT Trail Days coming up? Is that?
I have no idea.
Or
sorry, Cameron.
No, I think it's actually PCT Trail Days.
I don't know.
Because early August.
Yeah, that would make sense. Cascade Locks.
Leve Outdoors. We both use his layers for the hikes that we do.
Love.
We'll be taking them with us on the Collegiate Loop, the Colorado Trail, and the Arizona Trail because, like I said, lightweight, warmth, and you never know what the elements are going to throw at you, especially at higher elevations here in Colorado. So thank you, Leve. Thank you, Cameron.
We love you.
We love you. Okay.
We camped, the round parking lot before getting into Trout Lake. I could have sworn this was the night we met Sketch and Treebeard. I thought we met them.
No, it's the night that we leave Trout Lake.
Okay.
So this day, after we can see these epic views of Mount St. Helens, we meet yet again some new hikers that we have never seen. And one of them, this guy has like a cowboy hat on or some type of wide brim hat. And I think he's got a ukulele in his backpack. And there's this other girl that he's hiking with. They're both a little bit younger. And we keep leapfrogging with them when we're hearing their conversation. So, I mean, the day is just straight, pure hiking, really. We find our campsite finally. It is a kind of a round parking lot area with a little bit of grass on the side. And this couple comes to the same parking lot. And they're like, oh, someone else has pitched here. Should we pitch here? And they go like back and forth for like 10, 15 minutes on whether they should pitch there or not. And they're like, no, we'll go on ahead. And it was probably a good thing that they did because whenever we pitched on the tiniest amount of grass in this parking lot. And we woke up the next morning with our tent soaking wet. So that just reinforced the fact that you don't want to sleep on grass whenever you're camping because your shit's going to be damp.
Gonna be wet. Oh, wow. I don't remember this couple at all.
The reason I remember this couple is because at Trout Lake, we get to Trout Lake this next day and she was leaving the trail. I don't know if you remember. Yeah. There was so Trout Lake is like this congregation point here in Washington.
This is coming back to me now. Sorry.
Is it?
The female is, yeah, because she was leaving the trail.
She was young. She was like blondish.
Yep.
I don't know any of their names, but she was leaving. Are you thinking? You're processing?
Yeah. I was thinking about them, but it's not ringing. See, okay, here's what happens to you on a long through hike. For me, at least. See, Wesley must have a better memory than I do. I only care about the people that I have bonded with at this point. So I don't care about anyone else.
Yeah. I remember her leaving the trail because I'm like, wow, she's leaving so close to the northern terminus.
But she had skipped a lot of miles too.
But she had. But I'm like, if you're here, it
You might
seems
as
like
well try to
seems like a
finish.
shame to not try and finish out the state. You know,
Because wasn't she wrestling with it? Like she was
she
struggling
was. Yeah.
with staying or not. And I think she was on a time crunch too.
Yeah.
And so she just decided to call it.
And so this is why it's like memorable for me, because a lot of the other people who would have to skip ahead were sticking in with it as long as they could. And some people, like this gal, like she just decided that it wasn't her year to keep hiking. And I also understand that. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. I think then, like what I know now about the AZT and what we were like then,
Yeah,
I feel like we had a perfect hike that year
we did.
and we got really, really lucky.
We did.
And we were able to keep our footpath. And I look at, you know, now I have more compassion and empathy for people who decide to call it. I think that you and I have a very determined attitude, like a ride or die feel of like, we have to finish, or we have to touch that terminus, or we have failed the process and we have to keep our footpath, or we have failed the process. And I just feel like that's you and I we're both like that. And we both kind of see that way. I was judgy towards people who were giving up or, you know, feeling defeated and just giving up or skipping miles, or like I was judging people for that. I've changed my perspective since then, but I do think that it's important for integrity to keep your footpath as best you can or go back and do it. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No, I think you're
Going
right.
back.
I felt a little defeated by the Arizona trail, but at that point I had lost.
Oh my God. It was just so nasty.
I had lost my love for the trail at that point.
And maybe these people had. I mean, if
Yeah.
I saw a massive fire and ash falling down on my tent, I'd probably have some trauma that I needed to work through, and I didn't want to be on that trail anymore.
Definitely.
So who knows?
Yeah.
It definitely, the AZT changed my empathy radar with people
For sure.
hiking.
Do you remember Trout Lake?
Barely. The only thing I remember about Trout Lake is that we ate burgers and beer.
I remember Tumbleweed.
And
at Trout
Tumbleweed.
Lake.
How did Tumbleweed get there? Did he pass us in the middle of the night? Because we were like, Tumbleweed, how are you here? We thought you were...
He had passed us in the night. Tumbleweed is this...
He's crazy.
He's got 2 knee braces on, but he bust out 40-mile days.
He's crazy.
I don't even know.
He's going
man.
like 4 miles an hour. He's a military dude.
Yeah.
And he was carrying crazy weight in his pack.
Yeah.
Like he starts pulling out all of his battery charger.
Oh my God, his power bank, he uses the Nomad. I think it was the original version. But that sucker is like 1 to 2 pounds.
2 pounds, because ours was
God.
1.
Yeah, it's got an induction charger on top of it. So you don't even have to plug in. You can just sit your phone on top. That's crazy.
Like I felt that guy's backpack and I was like, dang, he's still has a heavy backpack in Washington and he's going 4 miles an hour. Who are you?
I can't wait to have him on the next episode and talk about his ruck march with the car battery in it.
Tumbleweed is quite the character, you guys. But yeah, I do remember Tumbleweed, and we had lunch with him at that spot where we had burgers and beer, and it was
We
okay.
did.
The food was okay.
It was mediocre, but it was food. It was calories. It was fat, carbs, meat. It got the job done.
All I remember is it was too expensive for what it was, and they were taking advantage of thru hikers.
Absolutely, as many places do. Yeah. Trout Lake itself is a large congregation point. There's like a little general store there. The general store is reasonably priced. You can get all of your resupply items there. And they have a lot of charging outlets. And I remember the charging outlet thing, the situation there at Trout Lake was utter chaos. They had a few power strips and like you had to wait your turn
There was just so many hikers.
to use the power strips because there were so many hikers.
So many hikers there. And I was like, we're getting out of here.
Oh, yeah.
And Arame met us that day at Trout Lake to bring me shoes.
To bring you those ultras you had ordered.
Yeah.
After we had charged up our junk, of course.
And we were trying to decide if we were going to stay at Trout Lake that night or not. And I was like, get us the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many. I mean, it's like, what? I don't want to exaggerate here, but there were like 50 hikers in a teeny tiny little.
That's about the number I was going to say.
Yeah. There were just so many people. And so you can't get a campsite, or if you do, it's like right beside people.
Yeah.
It was just too much for me.
And we just wanted to get back on the trail, even if it was less than a mile.
Just to
we
get
wanted
out.
to get out.
So Arame took us back to trail. Because did we have to hitch or did we walk?
We had hitched into Trout Lake, and Arame picked us up at Trout Lake and took us back to trail. And we walked all of like 0.2, 0.3 miles before we pitched.
And we found a cute little spot.
It was a lovely spot. There was water access right off the trail.
Because ain't nobody pitching close to a town. Or
Ain't nobody.
Ain't nobody pitching close to food.
So thank you, Aramay, for continuing to be a trail fairy.
That was the last time we saw her.
Never to be seen again. Nevermore.
Nevermore.
But this was...
This is where...
we were first introduced to a lovely couple from the UK.
Sketch and Treebeard.
I love the name Treebeard.
I know. They were such a cute couple. They were in their 60s. Sorry, you guys, if I get this wrong. But he had just recently retired.
Firefighter.
As a firefighter.
In the UK.
Yep. And they were just such a cool couple. Like, we pitched over there and she starts talking to us. And at first I was annoyed because at this point, again, when you've been through hiking this long, you just want to like do nothing and chill and just eat food. And you don't want to get to know many people because you just know you're probably not going to see them again at this point. It's just hard. For me, it was hard to bond with people because I felt like I was never going to see them again.
But we bonded with them.
But we bonded with them because they started asking us some fun questions.
And we're old souls anyways.
Yes, and we prefer the older people.
Wait, wasn't she Irish?
No, she was UK.
She was UK as well?
Yeah.
What was her name? Neri?
Sketch. Oh, Mary. Yeah, I think so.
No, Neri.
Nari. So Neri.
It's a really interesting name that I have trouble pronouncing.
It was. What was Nari, I think, or was it Nariegh?
We'll call her Sketch.
I just remember them being super fun that night, and we talked to them for a while.
As we're pitching our tent, they're talking to us. We connect a little bit. And it's important to note that Treebeard, the guy in this couple, was a firefighter. So
that is important to know.
He knows the signs. He knows severity just by looking at plumage of the smoke clouds.
Yeah.
So this is important information to keep in the back of your mind for the end of the trail.
But they were just a fun couple, and we continue to leapfrog with them throughout the trail at this point. We see them again and again, over and over again, and they were just so fun. And they had kept their footpath except for, I think, the Lion's Head part. They decided, and they were just so in awe of us for doing the road walk, I remember. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, we tried our best to keep our footpath, but we decided to skip I think it was 75 miles. So they did the lesser of the two skips in there. And they were really close to the NorCal fires. They got out before it happened. And yeah, it was just really cool to meet them and be like, how have we not met them yet? Huh? It was a nice little campsite. I really liked that one a lot. I
see now that we hiked a whopping 0.14 miles.
I was going to say, you said 0.2 to 0.3. I was like, I said 0.14.
That seems more right. Last day that we're going to talk about is day 6 of this week. We're going to save day 7 because we have a really epic moment with Tumbleweed. And since he's going to be on the next episode of the PCT, we're saving it for then. So next week's will be a little bit longer. But it doesn't mean that we should discount this day at all. This is day 6, week 23. We meet, I guess they were fans, kind of.
This was wild. It was a burn zone.
Yeah, we're hiking
and we were climbing
around Mount Adams. There's a bunch of burn, a bunch of down trees, but wildflowers and grass everywhere. Epic scenery that we're hiking around.
It is beautiful.
Wildflowers. But
is this when we before that, is this when we started hitting the biting flies?
Yes.
I remember Mount Adams was around the area.
Mosquitoes were bad. Biting flies were way worse.
Were horrible.
And when they bite you, you know it because it freaking stings.
It hurts.
It hurts, yeah.
Those things are mean.
I know. We're hiking up through this epic scenery, and we see 2 hikers coming. We didn't pass them. They're coming towards us.
They went down because they were going Sobo.
They were going Sobo. And apparently they had been following us on Instagram.
We had no idea.
Had no idea.
Because Wesley, being diligent, Wesley was posting our story on Instagram updates every week.
If I was an apostle, I would be called Diligent Wesley.
You would have been the documenter.
Wesley the Diligent.
Yes, but they were coming down. It was a couple close to our age.
Yeah.
Coming down the fire trail, the burn zone trail. Us going up, and I was just over the day because it was burn zone, and was like, I just want to get to tree shade.
Yep. And they're like, wait, are you the Ginger and the Joy? And we're like, oh my God.
How do you know our Ginger and the Joy
But that's
names?
our Instagram. That's not even our trail names. So we connected with them for a little bit.
They were like, oh my God, we've been following your entire journey. And we saw that you guys were close and we were hoping we'd run into you.
And lo and behold, we did. What are the odds?
It was wild, yeah.
I think he had a trail name, but she did not.
Right. And she had on all this black and yellow.
Black,
Black
and
and
yellow,
yellow,
black and yellow. I think it was her earrings that stuck out to me. She had on black and yellow earrings. And I was like, I'm going to give you a trail name. So I called her Queen Bee, and she stuck with it. Queen Bee. So Queen Bee, shout out to you. Thanks for taking the name. I don't think we knighted her, though.
We did not.
That's
because
kind
we
of our
didn't know.
tradition.
I think it's because she was trying to decide if she wanted it.
Yeah.
And then we left. We were like, okay, we're going to get out of here because we still have to do miles.
We've named a lot of people.
You have. I feel
Yeah.
like you always think of names on the trail. You're always like, what would this person be? That's what you do in your hiking spare time.
I do. I name people.
You're thinking about people's names.
Night people.
But they ended up following us, or I'm sorry, we ended up following them on Instagram. And I think she ended up doing the AZT last year.
Maybe.
I don't know, but they did end up finishing the trail. We followed them all the way down south and saw them finish. They finished with Professor Carl. So random. Prof. Carl. Shameless plug. It's really great. He's so cool. But that's really all I remember of this day is that we met them.
Really?
In Mount Adams.
We of little recollection.
Hang on. Should I read it?
You should. We do come across them.
I do remember the end of this day.
I didn't put this in the notes, but for lunch, we ended up pitching the main body of the tent.
I remember
with
that.
with the mosquito netting on it because the fucking biting flies were so bad you couldn't even stop to drink water.
You couldn't drink water. You couldn't eat.
And there was a cute little couple out there in like long sleeve everything tan. They were out there bird watching or something.
Oh, I remember them. The cute older couple.
And they're like sitting there talking to us, and the flies are literally
swarming us,
eating our flesh. And we're like, okay, we need to go now. The flies are bad. And I'm like, yeah, they're pretty bad.
They were just so impressed by what we were doing. So they kept asking us questions. Like they were like in their 70s, 80s. Like they were so cute.
But we did pitch the tent, have lunch in there. There's probably 15 to 20 flies that get in. And before you can even like comfortably start eating your food and drinking water, you need to kill the flies. And so it was a massacre.
Massacre?
Yeah.
It was a massacre.
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 There were bodies all over the place. I took a picture or a video of just all the dead bodies.
The dead fly bodies.
The dead fly bodies, not humans.
I do remember this day now because it was gorgeous. It's this beautiful alpine terrain that you're hiking through, and you can see Mount Adams is right beside you, and I'm just staring at it because it's a glacier mountain, and a lot of mountaineers do Mount Adams. Like it's one you train for.
I love that you recalled the day 15 minutes after we've been talking.
Sorry, it's because I didn't remember when that day happened, but I remember now because you said couple biting flies.
That was the
pitched
trigger
for lunch. And then I said, oh, I remember now. I just remember those staring at Mount Adams going, okay, where is the approach that they use for glacier climbing?
Yeah.
Because it's pretty, like, it's a glacier mountain.
It's a practice mountain that you do for like Rainier.
And people have died on Mount Adams. It's no joke.
Yeah.
People have died and fallen in crevasses on Mount Adams.
Does it have crevasses?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's not as risky as Mount Rainier.
It's not as risky for the bisky.
Yeah. But I do remember how beautiful this day was. It was gorgeous. The whole day, I'm just like, it's gorgeous.
I know. Bluebird skies this day.
It was great.
The only thing that let the day down was our campsite this evening.
Oh, man. The whole day was actually, it was nice.
Yeah.
Once we met the couple, my whole personality just changed because I was like, oh, wow, people actually like us.
I know. I think we'd been texting Tumbleweed to try and meet up with him.
We did, but he was too far ahead of us,
He was super far ahead of us. We thought,
but I remember we got to this area.
We're trying to find a campsite.
And we run into this guy named Beast Mode. Is this the day we met him, though?
But we didn't know his name yet.
So this is the day we met but didn't know him, right?
Yeah, we ran into him but didn't actually know him.
But it was so weird because
there's a couple of other people with him.
There were a few others. It was like 4 tents. It almost felt like a West Side Story feeling. Like they were protecting their campsite and they didn't want anyone else camping with them.
Their turf.
And it was very strange. And there wasn't anywhere else to camp, I felt like. Well, I guess there were a few places, but it was all grass. And so we were trying to avoid grass. And they all kind of got weird with us.
Yeah, and it's funny because all these people turned out to be like really great humans.
That we met later,
like officially. But for some reason this night we went over there and they're like staring us down. And we go and look in one spot to try and find a campsite. And this guy says, I've pitched over there. And it was Beast Mode. And no offense to you, Beast Mode. We just thought this was a really unique instance. But we're like, holy shit, this guy sounds a little aggro. Maybe we shouldn't camp near these people.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
so
right.
and so we left, and we went back to the trail and we backtracked like 0.2 miles, found a little like
It was kind of nestled.
pull off, yeah. And it was nestled in the trees and the bushes, and it had obviously been used before, and it looked like it had been used by locals because there were like
Little grills.
little grills out there and a bunch of campfires and kind of weird vibes from the area. But
Yeah.
it was a quiet place. We had the spot all to ourselves, and honestly, it was good that we had found a spot to ourselves because I was bitching and moaning for hours because our zippers on our tent were failing.
Yeah. This is the night that
Yeah.
it didn't zip up.
It would not zip up. I guess I hadn't maintained our zippers well enough, but
And so, do you remember what you did? Because I was panicking. Because I was like, I don't want to sleep with biting flies and mosquitoes coming into our tent.
yeah. So I used a combination of duct tape, gear patch tape, or gear aid, or whatever you want to call it, and medical tape to zip or to like try and tape up my vestibule zipper on the mesh of the tent. So not the rain fly, the mesh of the tent. And I just had to crawl over base camp to get out of the tent to pee at night.
Because my side wasn't yet malfunctioning.
It wasn't yet non-functional. Yeah, so my side had completely failed. I had to zip the whole damn thing up.
No,
Or
you
try
had to tape
to.
the whole
I
damn
had to tape
thing
the whole thing up.
to
And
close it.
yeah, I took a video or a picture, and it looks like a kid's like first grade art project.
And we were nervous to talk to Nemo because they'd been so weird about the jack. What is it called? The jack foot.
The Jake's foot.
The Jake's foot.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, this is so frustrating. And like, if we get back in touch with them, we don't know what's going to happen. And so we were already talking about, do we need to go buy another tent because we're so like frustrated, and we have biting flies now, and this is not fun.
Yeah.
And so I just remember that was the biggest piece to that night, that I was like, shit, what are we going to do now?
Yeah, I think we had messaged Mish, who was kind of like our main point of
Sweet
contact
Michelle.
outside of the trail. Like, Mish, can you help us with this?
Michelle and Amber were our main contacts for everything. And Amber was really
Honestly,
busy at that point too. And Michelle had a little bit more time, I think, to help us out with social media. Or the other thing that would happen is, because we just didn't have a lot of cell service,
Yeah.
is we would Garmin message her and ask her to social media message a company to see if they could send us a repair
Yeah.
for something. This is when it all started. Was
Happened frequently.
in Washington, everything started breaking down.
Bit of advice: have a good point of contact who's like has a lot of initiative to help
On
you
the
out
outside.
whenever
the-
you're hiking.
Yes, on the outside, whether it's your spouse, your partner, your best friend, your parents, your
Yes.
kid. I don't know. Yes,
Your kid.
your child. So
Yes.
that
So
was the end, I guess, of that week.
we're contemplating just complete tent failure and tent replacement.
So we were already discussing this at this point, that like,
Yeah.
okay, do we need to go in to somewhere and try to buy a new tent? And so
Yeah.
we were already discussing it at this point because of the malfunction.
We're like, we have about 3 more weeks left of hiking this trail.
And we don't want our
Can we
tent
make
to-
it?
Yeah.
Or did we just need to bite the bullet and drop $500-$600 on a new tent?
So that's kind of where we were at that point.
Yeah.
We'll leave you with that.
Yes. Next week will be 8 days.
Boy.
That'll be
With
a long one.
tumbleweed?
With tumbleweed. 8 days of tumble.
Well, we only saw him for 2 of those
I
days,
know.
and then we were in Seattle.
But he has a story too.
He does, so we can hear his story. We have re-upped our coffee, and now we're going to talk about the environmental corner. This one is near and dear to our hearts.
So the environmental corner today, we're going to talk about fires, specifically fires in Arizona. First off, I wanted to read this little article from the Cronkite News. The header is Arizona battles rising wildfire threat and never-ending kind of year as state grows hotter, drier. Arizona officials urged residents to take precautions as firefighters faced long hours battling more intense wildfires across the state. And I do want to mention again, this was written March 31st of this year. Governor Katie Hobbs joined the Arizona Department of Forestry and Fire Management for a media evening outlining the 2025 season fire outlook. They emphasized fire prevention and education for Arizona residents. The DFFM, which is the Department of Forestry and Fire Management, is responsible for protecting 22 million acres of state and private lands. The department has treated vegetation to mitigate fire risk on over 23,000 acres since July and aims to expand that 30,000 acres. So these are prescribed burns that they are doing to try and reduce the amount of fuels that could otherwise cause huge, drastic blow up fires like we're going to talk about today. Hobbs urged the public to take proactive measures in fire prevention and highlighted the role of human activity in wildfire outbreaks. According to a DFFM report, 66% of Arizona wildfires in 24 were determined to be human caused. As outdoor activities ramp up, key fire mitigating tips, including using caution with tools and other types of equipment, can leave sparks. Never leaving campfires unattended, clearing dead vegetation around homes, and removing flammable debris are also preventative measures. And then I'll close with this on this article. Most fires are human caused and not maliciously created, but by taking actions listed above, we can all do our part to prevent them. While fire prevention saves lives, it protects property and preserves our land. We all have to work together to mitigate the impact, Hobbs said. Now we should probably, before continuing on, talk about two of the biggest fires of the season that have hit Arizona. So we're talking the White Sage Fire and the Dragon Bravo Fire. These are all very close and into the Arizona Trail.
And these hit very personal for us.
Yes. The White Sage Fire is really close to the Utah border. To date, it is 58,000, almost 59,000 acres large. It's at 81% containment. And then we have the Dragon Bravo Fire. This is the one that has destroyed the north rim of the Grand Canyon. It's 26% contained, and it has burned almost 36,000 acres.
It moved so fast.
Yeah, and this has closed large swaths of the Arizona Trail. And I don't know if there are any reroutes planned for this yet.
I mean, I doubt it. There's not many spots you could go.
There aren't many spots that you could go.
I think so. We really wanted to cover this one because it is truly very personal for us. And I do want to explain this in listening that we haven't really talked much about this yet. But when we did the Arizona Trail, we also documented. So we took out they're called Osmo Pockets. They're cameras and they're super teeny tiny and they actually capture a lot in really high quality 4K quality. And we had audio equipment. We even had a couple follow us for the first few days. And God, mine actually, I'm tearing up.
Yeah.
That forest is no longer there. And what they captured with us, the drone they brought out there, none of it's there now. The White Sage Fire has taken all these trees, all this land and burned it. And we documented all those spots too. And we talk about the fires. This is what's so creepy is what we documented for this. We want it to be an environmental documentary. And man, oh man, I wish it was coming out right now because it would hit spot on.
It would.
And I wish we could get funding for it. All of this is delayed because we have no funding for it. And we have to pay an editor to really make this happen. And I think that it's just devastating because we saw in winter what was happening and we knew that this is going to be a horrible summer for Arizona.
And there was even a massive fire that broke out in December called the Horton Fire in Arizona.
That we documented and saw.
Yeah.
We even interviewed people that were telling us that there should be 2 feet of snow around Jacobs Lake. So if you look at Jacobs Lake on the Arizona Trail, like a lot of hikers go into Jacobs Lake. It's very close to the northern terminus. It's only like 40-ish miles. And we had gone into Jacobs Lake to grab lunch, and the guy was telling us that around this time in the season, they already have 2 feet. And you guys, they had nothing.
Nothing.
There was no snow on the ground.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is not good because, and Wesley can explain more scientifically, but you need snow to buffer fires for the summer. So if you don't have your snow season coming in, like around December, you are not, like the water intake is not going to be good.
Well, during your winter season, yeah. Because rain is the liquid form of water, right? And water can rush through, whereas snow melts slower over time, same with ice, and you get more of a sustained release of water instead of a surge that you would otherwise get with like rain, especially in drier areas that don't have the capacity to soak up as much water sometimes, especially if you have a lot of rocky terrain. So yeah.
I think too, to make it personal as well for people, that when you do hikes like this, you bond with nature and you bond with trees. You bond with, like, it feels alive to you. It feels like it has a soul.
Yeah.
It's talking to you. The wind talks to you. The trees talk to you. Like, as hippy dippy as that sounds, but like you really do connect and become one with this beautiful planet. And when you see like these trees, these old ponderosas that are just regal and beautiful
and fire adapted
being burned to the ground
because the fires are so severe and so intense,
then that means the trees are gone that brought oxygen and life. The animals are gone that lived in these forests, these trees. The entire habitat is gone. And when we hear and we talk about this to people, they say, oh, well, fires are common. And it's really painful to hear that because I'm like, not at this level, not at this level. We should not be having forest fires at this level.
Yeah. And I do want to do a little bit of research on that and see if some of the taller, older ponderosas might have made it through because they are a fire adapted species. They have really thick bark and they actually require fire for reproduction, like other species. So I don't know about that yet. But what I do know, and this is from the Department of Forestry and Fire Management, Arizona's Department of Forestry and Fire Management. Unlike years past, state and regional fire behavior analysts warned that this year, meaning 2025, Arizona's lingering warm and dry conditions coupled with drought-stricken fuel could be driving forces for widespread fire activity. This was written March 31st of this year. In addition, a windier spring weather pattern and sustained warm and dry conditions could potentially lead to larger and longer duration fires sooner, particularly in southeastern Arizona. Then, as the state moves into its hot and dry summer months, analysts forecast fire activity increasing throughout Arizona, including across the high country, which is where these fires broke out. The minimal moisture in Flagstaff and in northeastern Arizona also puts those areas at high risk for increased fire activity. DFFM's State Fire Management Officer John Trout said this year's season is not based on elevation or fuel type. More than half of the state is in extreme drought status. That, combined with a lackluster winter and spring in terms of rain and snow, have really put us at a disadvantage statewide. However, the possibility is there for areas south of the Mogollon Rim, which is part of the Arizona Trail, including across the Sonoran Desert landscape and southern Arizona, to see larger intensity fires due to the fuel types and amount of fuel loading. Fuel being like debris on the forest floor or just the floor of even sagebrush areas. Prior to the recent precipitation, state fire personnel recorded historically low live fuel moisture levels within brush in the Yavapai County and in the southeastern Arizona in Bisbee and Douglas. The abnormally low moisture levels essentially equate to dead fuel that can be highly conducive to quick ignitions and rapid spreading fire. So think drier wood instead of wetter wood debris or wetter leaves that would be a little bit more reluctant to burn quickly and hot. And this is the last thing from this article. The recent moisture may have spared us a few weeks in terms of keeping fire activity down. They had a little bit of a weather event. However, with the possibility of a very active fire season across Arizona, it is important that residents stay vigilant of the conditions. Be prepared and be proactive when it comes to fire. Do your due diligence when working outdoors with tools that may spark. Be a good steward of our lands and recreate responsibly. It's not a matter of if a fire starts, but when, Chief Trout said. And those fires have started and they are still continuing to burn as of July 26th here when this episode is being recorded. And I wanted to read off a little blurb from someone that we met who is an Arizona native.
We love her.
We love her to death, and she actually has a little cabin close to where these fires have happened. I think personal testimony holds a lot of weight, so I just wanted to read this really quickly for you. So here's my recent climate story, and I do share your rage about climate change denial. I have a rustic cabin in the White Mountains of Arizona, which is kind of in more eastern Arizona, close to the border of New Mexico. Small solar setup, no water or plumbing. I bring in drinking water and rely on rain catchment for everything else. I love to spend time in the summer there because it's too darn hot here in Tucson. She said too damn hot here in Tucson. And I don't have/want air conditioning in the cabin. Typically, I can't get to the cabin until mid to late March because it gets 4 to 6 feet of snow and the roads aren't plowed by the county. By mid-spring, cattle tanks and lakes are full and my cisterns are overflowing. Last year was very dry, but this year was devastating. I think there was maybe 8 inches total of snow, and there's been no rain. I had a late start to my cabin life this year because of heading out east for a couple of months to see my son. But when I got there, the cisterns were not even half full. The earth is parched. Nearby areas recently burned. You may have heard about the Greer fire, which I actually did not know about. Anyhow, it just feels so apocalyptic. I was able to stay for 2 weeks, and then I ran out of water. And this was during a time when we were supposed to get rain about 5 days in a row. It rained for half a day, very lightly, and that's it. The temperatures there are also much higher than they've ever been. It's at 8,200 feet, which means it should be cooler. So I can typically count on a high of 75 in the thick of summer, but the highs were in the mid to high 80s this time. Anyhow, much of my time up there was spent doing intense fire prevention, clearing needles from the dried up pine trees, hauling off any fallen wood, etc. It just feels so vulnerable. When the rains start, they will come with lightning, and we know what lightning has done recently up north and near the Black Canyon of the Gunnison. She's referring to a large fire that's burned and closed the south rim of the Black Canyon of the Gunnison, and so many other places. I returned home to a house that was over 100 degrees inside. I had turned off the swamp cooler since I'd planned to be gone for 3 to 4 weeks, and I wanted to save the energy. Our water has become so hard over the years that the water pump and the little device that drips water on the swamp cooler pads and all moving parts in the cooler calcified to the point that the swamp cooler didn't work when I turned it on. Chaco, her dog, was absolutely dying. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not much, honestly. And with climate temperature changes soaring, repair entailed trying to get up on the freaking unbearably metal roof that was so hot and do as much as she could before the temperatures hit 100 degrees for that day, which is about 11 a.m. in the morning. Then she had to spend the rest of the time in the house as temperatures went up to 110 degrees plus. It can still be over 100 at 10 p.m. at night. Anyway, the reality of climate change is ever present, but it hit me especially hard last week. Yeah.
I think it's, and I feel like, we all need uplifting messages and things, but this is a little of a painful topic. And I do think that a lot of people don't want to talk about it because it is so painful, and they wipe it away or they slough it off and they say, oh, well, but fires are normal. And I just want to say that we have experienced this in California, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, even Colorado. These fires are not normal. And our planet is crying out for help. Like, I just feel like this is, with these fires, this is what it's trying to get our attention.
Yeah.
And say, help me, like, help me figure this out. Help me get water to you. Like, it's just, there is this feeling of like, we are supposed to be so interconnected with the planet, and we've become so disconnected to the planet because of cities. And we think that, oh, we have everything we need. We have water, we have food, we have grocery stores, we have tap water. And so we think nothing will ever happen to us.
They're all exhaustible resources.
And water is becoming the most exhaustible resource.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're going to run out of before anything at the rate we're going as a people.
I think food first.
You think food first. Why? Say more.
Because you need water. Well, first of all, you need water to grow crops. And if we continue to have erosion and we continue to have a decrease in the agricultural workforce, we'll see a drop in available food, especially with an increase in tariffs. Who knows what those are going to look like a year from now. The cost of food is going to go up, so people will be able to purchase less of it.
Interesting.
So I think it's just going to be food first, then water, and it's going to be super hot.
I think it's interesting that people, I think our administration especially, I hate getting into politics, but I'm going to do it. It's just that they don't care. They do not care about climate change. That is not on their ticket at all. It is, they don't even think it's real. And there is a reality in which people are living in where they, it's over 100 degrees. Arizona is the biggest teller right now that they went through a drought. When we were interviewing these people on trail with our cute little Osmo pockets, every single person we interviewed said they did not get a monsoon season this year.
It's true.
And they didn't get a good snow pack. And that's not normal.
Arizona relies on water from 2 monsoon seasons and from melting snowpack.
And so, when we saw the California fires that happened sadly in January, I just, when our administration decides to blame a state for the fact that we are in climate change and we do have a lack of water.
Yeah.
It is such a painful experience to have. And I feel so ashamed to be a part of this country of people turning blind eyes to an issue that's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse and worse until it's at our doorstep. And it's at your doorstep. And now you can't avoid it anymore. And so I just say all this to say, you guys, that we really need to be mindful of the way that we steward our planet now.
And quit living in a state of climate change denial, because it is ever present and a lot of things are politicized now. But if you just look at the science, remove all the politics, stuff is getting a little bit worse and a little bit hotter, a little bit drier.
And we've got to figure out solutions to try to help our planet just even a little bit. We can do something about this, and you can do your part. Recycle or figure out how to not drive to that place that you need, that you want to go to. Maybe we actually try to limit, and I'm guilty of this too. I drive a car and I use emissions.
Use public transport.
And I'm about to get on a plane, and but I just don't know what the solution is to trying to help our planet that's crying out for help.
Well, the most obvious solution is to vote in an administration that is environmentally aware and conscientious.
What's wild about that is we had an administration that was doing that and trying to help us with green efficiency. And you know what happened? Everybody fucking complained that he was stupid and that he wasn't doing what they wanted. And guess what, guys? You got a worse person for it. I just don't understand why we can't just be happy with the fact that he was trying.
Yeah.
To bring in more energy efficiency and more, green deals. I mean, look at what we got because people were complaining that he was a bad president.
Well, there were tax incentives for converting to greener energy sources and, cleaner energy just in general.
Well, those are all gone.
And those are gone. And it's unfortunate too because, the LA fires were highly politicized.
Which is disgusting.
And then we try and just highlight the fact that the floods in Texas, which our hearts go out to all the families.
We're so deeply, deeply grieved by what happened.
What a tragedy. But Texas refused funding from the Biden administration to further overhaul their warning systems.
And are you ready for this? Because we read this. This is facts. It's because they did not want to be tied to a communist president.
They didn't. Yeah, that's what was stated.
That was what was stated.
They didn't want to be held to the Biden administration agenda that they thought was attached to that money.
And they were going to give them a lot of money to help their flood system in that area because they knew they had an issue.
At the end of the day, it's about protecting our environment and the people who live in our towns and our environments and who have futures ahead of them that could get outside and appreciate, the nature that we have and maybe want to fight for it too. And Loba is dying over here.
Well, I think she's looking at me because I'm very passionate right now about this because anything that has to do with our planet, I get very intense about.
Yeah.
Because we really should care a lot more than we do.
And I wanted to read a little bit more here. I've got 2 last links I wanted to read stuff off from. One is from NOAA. This is a government agency that reports weather to us, and it has been massively defunded recently. This is a little report, came out May 29th of this year, and I wanted to read it while it's still here and hopefully is not
taken out down,
pulled down because it talks about climate change and global temperatures on a whole. I'm just going to read you the highlights. The Earth's temperature has risen by an average of 0.11 degrees Fahrenheit per decade since 1850, or about 2 degrees Fahrenheit in total. The rate of warming since 1982 is more than 3 times as fast per decade. 2024 was the warmest year since global records began in 1850 by a wide margin. It was 2.32 degrees Fahrenheit above the 20th century average of 57 degrees Fahrenheit. It was 2.62 degrees Fahrenheit above the pre-industrial average of 56.7 Fahrenheit. The 10 warmest years in the historical record have all occurred in the past decade. So the 10 hottest years have been the 10 hottest years.
It hasn't changed.
It has not changed. And this is from NOAAclimate.gov. I'll have a link to all this information. That was published and reviewed by Jessica Blunden and Rebecca Lindsay, May 29th. And you may be asking yourself, well, I mean, this all sounds stupid. You're talking about the planet being hot. Well, we've gone through hot eras in the past that have caused extinctions. And you're right. We have. So I wanted to read you a little bit from another NOAA article, climate.gov. Hasn't Earth warmed and cooled naturally throughout history? This is October 29th of 2020. Yes, the Earth has experienced cold periods, informally referred to as ice ages or glacials, and warm periods, interglacials, on roughly 100,000 year cycles for at least the last 1 million years. So I'm talking on a level of individuals who believe in evolution. I also am kind of a like-minded person. This is not a biblical timescale that we're talking about. The last of these ice age glaciations peaked around 20,000 years ago. Over the course of these cycles, global average temperatures warmed or cooled anywhere from 3 degrees to perhaps as much as 8 degrees Celsius, which is 5 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. It was partly through their attempts to understand what caused and ended previous ice ages that climate scientists came to understand the dominant role that carbon dioxide plays in Earth's climate system, and the primary role that the human-produced carbon dioxide is playing in current global warming. Over at least the past million years, so 1 million years, glacial and interglacial cycles, so these cold and warm cycles, have been triggered by variations in how much sunlight reaches the northern hemisphere in the summer, which are driven by small variations in the geometry of Earth's axis and its orbit around the sun. But these fluctuations in sunlight aren't enough on their own to bring about full-blown ice ages and interglacial or warming periods. They trigger several feedback loops that amplify the original warming or cooling during an interglacial period. Sea ice and snow retreat, reducing the amount of sunlight the Earth reflects. That's because water, but also ice and snow, reflect sunlight back out into the atmosphere a lot better than the water. And that keeps the Earth cooler. Warming increases atmospheric water vapor, which is a powerful greenhouse gas, which means it traps in heat closer to the Earth. Permafrost thaws and decomposes, releasing more methane and carbon dioxide, and it also allows more evapotranspiration. So that's basically going to be little bacteria and algae and plants going through their processes that were otherwise locked up in the frozen permafrost. The oceans warm and release dissolved carbon dioxide, which traps even more heat around the planet. These feedbacks amplify the initial warming until the Earth's orbit goes through a phase during which the amount of northern hemisphere sunlight is minimized. Then these feedbacks operate in reverse, reinforcing the cooling trend. So, yes, we've gone through cooling and warming cycles in the past, but the problem is that we are in what is called the Anthropocene era. Anthropocene meaning the human era. And we are dumping way more CO2 and other greenhouse gases, including aerosols and methane, into our atmosphere than the planet would typically do in a natural, long-term geologic scale. So we are hastening the interglacial or warming period for ourselves. And who knows what that's going to look like for the future. But yes, we've gone through cold and hot spells, but we as a species are making it worse faster, which is why it's getting hotter, which is why we're seeing these flood events and erratic weather events, which is why drought is more of an issue and fires are becoming bigger and hotter and flashier.
It's really depressing, but we really want to just bring about an awareness to what is happening.
Yes.
I think, yeah, that's where we're at.
Perfect. Now we should do our little wrap out.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, folks, for listening to our episode, but also the Environmental Corner. It's a topic that hits very personally with us, and we think it's extremely pertinent information for everyone to be aware of and to not buy into the climate denier narrative that is being publicized so frequently these days.
Yeah. Well, thanks to our editor, Brooke, for editing this podcast. And thank you, Charlotte, to our lead editor, who will be posting this
and helping coordinate.
Yes, we really appreciate you guys, and we appreciate everything you do for us. You are our true heroes. And thank you so much to all of our listeners. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate that you, are going on this journey with us. We can't do this without you. So please, 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 if you have any thoughts, comments, questions about anything, man, it could range from anything.
It could range from anything to anything.
Email us at yetiwalksintobasecamp@gmail.com. Follow our podcast. Follow our podcast. We'd love that. Like and subscribe. Leave us reviews. And also you can find us on Instagram where we drop all of our information at Yeti Walks into Basecamp or the Ginger_and_the Joy. To get all of our information, you can also join our Patreon,
which is for free or paid subscribers. You get different stuff depending on the level.
You can get photos, videos of all the things that we're talking about so you can see it while you're listening.
Yes. Huge shout out to The Fire Once Lost for our intro and our outro music. They are an American bluegrass band, and we use their track Appalachian Trail. We love the vibe. Thank you so much for letting us use your song, always.
We appreciate you.
Yes. Well, if we went back in time and we were both near Mount St. Helens whenever it was about to blow its top,
I don't think we'd be saying happy trails.
I think if I saw it erupting, I would look at you and be like, I love you, mi amor. I love you.
Okay. Whatever.
That was a good one. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
Happy trails.
Happy trails.